Okay, then I believe I'm live, and I also believe you can hear my voice properly. So if you guys can hear me properly and if the screen is also visible to you, please do give thumbs up in the chat section so that I can know that I am perfectly audible. Okay, so yeah, Yatra says super excited. Yeah, we are also super excited. Yeah, Manikanta, hello. Hello, Kirtika. Hello, Suresh. Majumdar, Patil, good evening. Yeah, good evening, Lata. Hi, Vivek. Rituja says thumbs up. Okay, cool. That means I'm perfectly audible, right? So we'll be waiting for 2-3 minutes so that everyone can join in, and then we will start with this. So mind you, it is day 7th of this boot camp. Of this front-end bootcamp, wherein we discussed everything around HTML, CSS. I mean, not everything, but yeah, major topics around HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. We also made some simple things. We have done some illustrations or some demonstrations around with it. Now it's the end game of that. Now what we are doing is related to everything that we have learned, right? Be it HTML, be it CSS, be it JavaScript, we'll be compiling them, all of them together, and we'll be trying to make a project. Right, and that will be super functional project, and that you can also add in your GitHubs or in your project sections as well. Right, so all these things we have covered, and a quick information about the bootcamp is that after today's session, what will happen is you will get a quiz link in you will get a quiz link tomorrow at 7 to 8, from 7, and the quiz will be live from 7 till 8. What you have to do is you have to fill that quiz. I mean, you have to attempt that quiz, and whosoever scores more than 40% marks in that quiz will be eligible for certificate of completion. If you have missed any particular day attendance, or if you feel like, I have attended all the lectures and all, but I somehow missed one particular thing or one particular attendance or something, but I want certificate of completion. So this is your chance now. What you have to do is you have to honestly attend all these quizzes from your side, and you will be getting certificate of completion once you in 2-3 coming days. And for those of you who are not able to complete the quiz, or who are not able to score more than 40%, don't worry, you'll still be getting certificate of participations, right? So this is about the quiz that we'll be having tomorrow, and that will be all these quiz links and all these Google Forms things, and all these things will be sent to your respective WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups. So please make sure that you are there, right? For quiz at that time, my shift not completed, sir. Okay, I'm not sure about I think you are saying that you will not be available at that moment. Yeah, so I think that will hardly take 10-15 minutes. You can easily you can easily complete that, and it's just some MCQ questions, some simple MCQ questions. Yeah, and also if you come across any problem or something, right, quiz time and etc., if you can directly reach out to admins in the in the WhatsApp group, and they will help you in some other way, right? Okay, so so some people are saying I'm late, please tell this again. Don't worry, I will do this announcement later in the session as well, right? I was just tell the people who are joining, I was just giving some information around it. So quick information, it is it's just you'll be having a quiz. Okay, one is asking dear, how many days will this be this education? I believe you were asking about bootcamp, right? So it is the 7-day bootcamp. It is the 7th day of this bootcamp. And what will happen is tomorrow, what will happen is the bootcamp is over, but tomorrow you'll have a quiz based on whatever things we have discussed in this bootcamp, and that will be some MCQ questions probably. And if you attend that quiz, and if you are able to score at least 40% marks in that quiz, you'll be eligible for certificate of completion that you will be receiving in your respective email IDs, right? If you by any chance miss that quiz, or if you have attended like some sessions, or if you have filled that attendance link, right? And if you have just attended, but I mean, if you have just attempted the quiz but unable to like score more than 40%, don't worry, you'll be still be getting certificate of participation, right? But please attend that quiz, or please do fill out today's attendance as well. Okay, so yeah, some people are again saying like quiz timing and all. Don't worry about that. The like probably the fix, or probably the timings will be like done accordingly as per your like queries and all. Please do reach out to your WhatsApp group admins, right? And they will definitely help you out in like figuring out some other way so that you can attempt the quiz, right? It's not an issue. Can anyone send here the link of other like if you are talking about the other 6 days boot camps, so these are available on the our channel, right? You can quickly go into, I mean, this channel's the previous videos are available, right? You can have a look. And if you are talking about attendance link or something, then that will not be available, because yeah, that was for that day only, so don't worry about that links. Attendance link I'll share, just let me start the session now. At the end of the session I'll be sharing that attendance link. Cool, then it's already like 8:05. Today I have not shared today's attendance link. I'll share it later. Yeah, so without wasting much of our time, let's directly jump into it, and let's see what we have to do today, and what's we are building today, right? So any other doubt that you have, don't worry, we'll take that. So yeah, in yesterday's class, if you remember, we discussed about what? We discussed about DOM, right? What is DOM, and how can you change some things, or how can you get any things from there, right? We also have to discuss about event in the last class, but due to some technical issues, right, the stream got paused for a moment. But now we will just have a look around events, like what are events and how do you like do some things in the events, and depending upon that events, we will be making a project. Right now, you'll be asking what is the project, right? From day one, you are saying at the 7th day, we'll be making a project. So for the simplicity and for like something very functional, what we are doing is we are building a calculator, like full-fledged calculator that will have all kinds of functionality. And that will be like, if you click on that, that will work. If you like type your keys from your keyboard, that will also work. Right, so that will be like calculator that will be making, and at the end, like one bonus thing will be there, right? What bonus thing will be there? Ki suppose if you have made that calculator, but what will be the use if you are not able to share it with your friends, or if you are not able to flaunt that with your friends? So we'll be able, we'll be hosting it, we'll be deploying it, and we'll generate a link that will host our project over there. Right, so this is what is the agenda for today. So what we will do is we'll quickly do one thing. We'll quickly go over our previous lesson. First of all, our previous folder, we were doing all these things. I'll just quickly introduce to you two events, and then probably we'll start building up our project. Okay, so the timing of today, tomorrow's quiz will be like 7 to 8 most probably. But yeah, all these announcements on all these quizzes will be available. All these information will be available on your WhatsApp groups or your Telegram channels, right? So please be checking that. Yeah, so this was all about like events and all that we did in the last class. Let's remove all of these things because we don't want to do any such things now. But now what I'm saying is, suppose if I make a button, right? It's very simple thing that I'll be showing. I hope it is visible now to everyone. Yeah, so in this what I'll be doing is I'll be saying, suppose if like if there is a button that says click me, right? And now you want to do a particular thing when someone clicks that button. Just a minute, yeah, this area, now you can see that. Let me zoom this out, let me zoom this in. Now if I click on this button, nothing special is happening, right? Now I'll only show you one simple thing about events is once I click on this event, I want to maybe change a particular text, or I want to maybe show some alert, right? So how can I do that is all about events. So one thing that I'll be doing is you can add events by two ways. One way is by directly going into that particular tab and using a particular attribute, right? What could be that attribute? That attribute could be anything. Suppose if you want to say like if someone clicks on that button, right? So you can say that on click, yeah, this is a particular attribute. If you write any function inside it, what will happen is that function will run. Or if you write any other message inside it, right? I told you about alert, right? If you remember this, alert is a JavaScript function that will show you a particular message as a pop-up. I'll say button click. If I write this, what will happen? See, I'm clicking on that button, and as soon as I click on that button, this button click message is what I'm getting, right? So this is the simplest way of doing that, right? Simplest way of adding an event in your page, right? What is the event? Just a minute. Let me sort of zoom this out so that, or also let me do that because the text was getting hidden, right? Yeah. So what we have done over here is we have done nothing fancy. We have just added an attribute that is like on click, and as soon as we click on that, some particular thing will run. Right now, it's not only like as soon as you click on page, then only an event will happen. Suppose if you want to like hover your mouse over that button, and you want to say like as soon as I hover my mouse over that, something should happen. So what you can do is you can do something called as on mouse hover or on mouse over. Yeah, on mouse over you can do. That means as soon as your mouse is over this button, something will happen, right? Again, we want to go with the same message, or we want to go with that same particular thing. That is what? Yeah, mouse over. Right now, if I see this is my page, trust me, I'm not clicking any button or something. I'll just move my cursor just to that button. Boom. As soon as my mouse entered that, what happened is this message got visible to me, right? So there are plenty of such events, right? What all are these events? You can find into like yesterday's PPT. We have listed down all like major events so that you can have a look and you can use them. Right, so this was a simple method, right? Why it was simple? Because we were just going into our HTML tags and we were just adding some random attributes over there, right? So now this is not a preferred way. Why not preferred way? Because see, we are somehow mixing our JavaScript with our HTML, right? Which we don't want. So instead of doing this way, what we will do is we'll do the same thing. We'll add an event listener. We'll add an event over our button. Okay, as soon as we click on this button, some alerts should show. But instead of writing this over here now, what we will do is we'll quickly go into our JavaScript file and we'll say, see, this is a very simple thing that I'm writing, right? I'm first of all selecting that button. Why I'm selecting that button? This was done in the last class, right? Suppose if I want to do any particular things on any particular element in my page, I have to select that button. So how can I do that? I will say that var button equals document dot. I hope you by now you know this thing, right? The document dot get element by, suppose let's give this an ID so that we are clear. Let's give this as an ID, maybe like click button or simple btn, right? Document dot get element by ID. Yeah, get element by ID, and the button ID is simple btn now. So as soon as I do this, what will happen is I have selected my button, and now I want to add an event listener over there. So how will I write that event listener? I'll write button dot, see, this is a function that we will be using in today's project as well, right? The function name is add event listener. This is a predefined function. What that will do is that will take two parameters, or that will take two values. What two values that will take? It will take first as an event. Just a minute. It will take first thing as an event and second thing as the function that you want to run, right? That you want to write. Now in events, whatever events can you write is you can write maybe click. See, all these things you have to write inside the single quotes or double quotes, right? You want to write, you can write click. What will click do is it will say as soon as someone click on this, right, do this particular function, right? If you write like key press, what will happen? As soon as someone key press over that, this function will run, right? So not you'll just not write function, but you'll write the function name which you want to run over here, right? Or you can define the whole function over here as well. It's not a problem, right? I hope that add event listener is clear to everyone. If this is clear to everyone, just let me give me a minute. Let me see if people are having any doubts or something. Then we'll move on. How many days will be this our meetup? Okay, this is for like today only. For the 7 days it was. Timings. Okay, all these Telegram group. See, all these things will be done given by you. The team has shared all these things. So there is one doubt, like what is difference between event and callback function? Okay, so there is a very much difference between an event and a callback function. Event is just simply like if you do any particular activity and then you want to like trigger something, or then you want to show something, or then you want to call any particular thing, right? Callback functions are a little bit different. Callback functions are, suppose if you are calling particular thing, or if you are just doing any particular call or something, inside that you want to run an extra function, that will do maybe some particular task for you, right? So that is called as a callback function, kind of a function running inside a function, right? Cool then. So what I'll be doing over here is I'll maybe write a function called as show alert. Right, this is not a predefined function. This is just a function that I'll be writing over here. Right, so this is a function that I say ki maybe I want to do this as soon as we click on this. Right, as soon as I click on this, I'll trigger this function. Now, what is this function? I'll have to define that function. Right, I'm assuming that everyone here now have a decent idea how do we define a function or what exactly a function is. Right. So as soon as as soon as I written that, what is that? I've written a function that is a show alert function, and that will do what? That will just give an alert to us, right? So now let's go to our page and let's refresh this first of all and see. I'll click on this, and again the same thing is happening over here as well. The click event is getting triggered. Right, so this is about events. There are multiple types of event that you can trigger, but this is the simplest one, and that is like very simple for us to learn. And now if we know this, now we are good to go. Right, so this was pretty much about events, and surrounding this, like if you know like basics of HTML, CSS, if you also know like basics of JavaScript, you are very good to go to make a first like JavaScript calculator that will be fully functional. Right, so yeah, let's close this and let's go to our that folder where we have where we were doing that project. Yeah, so this is the project folder. Now I have written some particular code like before words, because if I start on explaining each and every simple thing, if I start explaining this is how you make a button, this is how you color that, this is how you make a box or something, then this might be a very long webinar, right? And we just want to do things in a very quick manner. So all these logical part I've left for I've left to implement, and all these very simple or very repetitive tasks I have already done. Let me show you that. And don't worry, I'll also be explaining how I made that task. I mean, how I have written that task and what is the purpose of doing that. And what purpose does it serve? Yeah. So just a minute. Let's first of all open this and let's see. Open with yeah. And let's see what will our calculator look like. Cool then, right? So this is the simplest UI that I've made, like in just like couple of 10-15 minutes. That is what, but just a normal looking area calculator where we have keys, right? In keys also you can see like as soon as I hover on any key, that changes its color, right? And we have a display area over here, and right now it is not functional. See, I'm pressing these keys but nothing is happening, right? Nothing is showing in our page. But what I want to do is, as soon as I click on any of these keys, the values should appear over here, and that should do the calculations, right? I hope this is not making any this is not giving you any discomfort. Now you will say like this is cool, but how you have made it, right? What is like all these codes that this code might look very scary, this code might look very lengthy, but trust me, it is not. It is very repetitive. Let me show you that, and let me explain like what I've made and how it is made, right? So till then, let's see what we have in the questions. Why do you use let and why some used? Okay, so that is a good question. Like Don Keogh, why do some uses let and not var, right? And why people uses let and const more than using var? So that is a question that we dealt in like when we were discussing HTML. I mean the JavaScript part. But yeah, let me give you another like very quick answer for that. See, var is like the older version, but let and const are the newer version. And what is the major difference between var and let is that var is like a local scope, right? It is not a block scoped element. What is the problem with block scope element is a like matter of discussion that I don't want to take it over here. But if you want to like have a detailed answer of that, please refer to our last video where we were discussing about JavaScript and we discussed about let and var, right? So I mean var is like the previous one, let is like the advanced one that has like various problem that were coming with the var was fixed into this, right? So yeah, and okay sir, आपका नाम बता दो, LinkedIn पे follow करना है. Okay, so I think first of all it is not very necessary to know that, but yeah, I mean let's avoid these personal question and focus to that. Sir, give an example of callback function. Okay, so callback function is like very simple. Let me show you that. I mean, we were discussing about add event listeners, right? In add event listeners, I told you that add event listeners is what? Add event listeners is a function, right? Inside that function, you also remember me writing a function, right? That click alert or show alert function. So I was writing in another function inside that. So what was that? That was kind of a callback function, right? So you can also call that a callback function. Cool then, right? So let me explain this. Before that, I want to like open up my this area, whiteboard area, and I want to show you what I have prepared and how it is working, how it is working properly. Yeah. So basically, our page. Just a minute. I am not very good at handwritings when it comes to like using pen tabs or something, right? So what is there in our page? Our page has a like outer container called as what? Called as a calculator, right? And it has further two containers inside it. What are those two containers? These are nothing but, I think you might have guessed it. First is your display container, wherein only display will occur. I mean, only display will happen. And second is your, let's take a different color of pen this time. Yeah, this is your buttons container, right? We have given this name as display container and button container just to be relevant with the naming convention, because many times you will find people doing these projects. So if they have like boxes or if they have like some containers over just like that, so they generally prefer writing containers like just like button container, outer container, inner containers, just like that, right? So this is just a like convention of writing that. It's not like a hard-coded thing, right? So we have a outer box, this box called as a calculator. We have a further inside box that has display container, and we have like a button container that contains some button, right? Obviously, if we have some buttons, just a minute, we will also be having blocks for them as well, right? So what we have done is we have, let's take a brighter color. Let's take green for now. So what we are doing is we have added these some simple buttons over here, right? Numbers of buttons and their placement might differ, but yeah, these kinds of button we have added, right? Simple types of button. So each button is again a division in itself, again a normal container in itself. And please mind this thing, right? Please note this thing. Okay, whatever button we have, right? Every button has a class called as a button. Right, what is the purpose of that? That we will come later, right? Every button has a class button so that we can identify if we are clicking buttons, or simple one display has a class as display area or display normal, right? Why we are giving every button a button? We will, every button and a class of button is, we will see just in a moment. Right, so I hope this is like the outer structure or like the skeletal of our project is clear to everyone. Let me also go to page and let me show you there as well. Yeah, so you can see that all these are very simple thing. All these link tag, title tag, all these things are very simple. Now in this main page, we have this thing. Just a minute, let me do this thing. Yeah, now you can see that I have like collapsed that area, right? In collapsing that area, you can see that we only have a division area inside our body, right? And that division area is what? That division area is called as calculator. Right, and all these script file, since we are writing a script file, is added, and since we have a style file as well, so that we have added. Right, so that's simple. And now if that is very clear, now you can also see that we again have a subsection inside it. What is that? That is called as a display container. That is containing nothing but a simple area that is plain at this moment, right? Why it is plain? Because we have not written anything on our page right now, right? And we don't want to write anything in our page until and unless the user clicks on any button, right? So this is just a simple division area, right? Now some of you might be saying, if you have created a division, why there is a need to create this paragraph, and why there is a need of giving this as an ID of display, or all these things might come to your mind. But let me tell you that all these things are like according to, since I code like websites, or I code in these things, so I have generally given according to my conventional name, and that is like somewhat related to industries, right? Generally how people do. If you if you are not feeling very comfortable by writing NP inside it, or if you just want to write simple display area inside the division, you can also do that, right? But this is just a suggestion. Please stick to these conventional methods so that you don't have any problems if you are doing any internships, or if you are writing code with multiple different people, right? So this is simple display area. And if I also compress this, if I just collapse this, you'll find out that inside the calculator we have two subsections. What is display container? Second is your button container. Display container is very simple. Everyone has seen this. Like just we have added a paragraph tag inside it. And in buttons container, what effectively we have done is we have simply opened up these many division tags. These are like individual to that are repetitive, right? This is one division tag. This is second division tag. And what is inside these division tag? Inside these division tab, we have added our buttons, right? AC is a button, then plus minus is a button, then like percentage is a button, division is a button, 7 number, all these numbers are there, right? All these keys, all these buttons all things are over there, right? So this is, again, you might ask why there is span, right? There is no need of writing span, we can directly write that. But yeah, this is like the modular way of writing code, right? You write code in such a way that if you want to do some minor changes over there, you will not be I mean, you don't have to write you don't have to change every code, right? So this is how we have written it. Suppose I only want to access this thing, or I only want to change into this particular point, I can also do that since I have added that inside the span. Right, all other these things are also over here, right? One is this class thing, right? Every button has a class called as a button, right? Why we have given that? Because see, every button has a particular style, right? Every button might have a size, every button might have like area, every button might have padding, every button might have this thing, right? As soon as I click, as soon as I move my mouse over this should highlight, right? So if I have to give like all these buttons this common style, I don't want to write every style for every button, right? So what is why I've given them a class, and I've given these styles using that particular class. Now this IDs are also over here, right? IDs, why we've required, suppose I only want to select any particular button, or I only want to know what button is it, right? So I can also tap that into by, I mean, I can also get that by tapping into their ID name, right? So every, like, according to the button, we have given the ID name. Again, it's not a like predefined thing. You have to give btn clear if you are adding a like clear button. Again, if you are adding a like negation button, it's not a thing you have to give this id as btn sign. It's according to my like my senses, so that is why I've given that according. If you want to change it to according to your need, it's totally up to you, right? So this is what I have done. And one more very important thing that is like super important to know over here is this data value, right? So this is like nothing very fancy, but this is just an attribute. This is just an extra attribute. Why we have written this over here? Because suppose if I click on any particular button, right? Suppose maybe if I clicked on 5 button, now how will I ever know like what button is clicked and what is the value of that button? Right? Suppose I might know the button btn 5 is clicked, but how will I get this particular value of that button? Right. So for that, what I have done is I have added an extra variable, like an extra attribute, right? That is called as a data value, right? Which is a predefined thing. So I have added this thing. What this will do is, suppose I want to get this particular value, right? To get this particular value of that button, how will I get that? I'll just directly write what is the attribute value of data value, and depending upon that, what will happen is I'll get its value, right? Suppose if I click on AC button, I'll get AC. If I click on plus minus button, I get the sign value, right? If I click on like the star button, I'll get this star is the value, right? So this is the purpose of writing this data value, right? All these things are very simple now. So what I've done, I have added all these simple buttons with some IDs, with some class, and with some data value attributes. So I hope everyone, I mean, everything in this HTML file is making sense. If you have any doubts or something according, I mean, in this page or regarding this HTML structure, please do ask. If not, then I think we are good to go with the next part. That is how we have styled it, right? What is the styling behind it? Whatever we have written. Right? Quickly give me a thumbs up if these all things are clear, so that I know ki, acha, we are moving step by step, and I'm not just like explaining thing and going just without making you things clear. Right? So yeah, if this is done, I'll be waiting for the confirmation, since there is a delay of 18 to 20 seconds, right? If we are live streaming. So until you give the confirmation, I'd like to move to the next part about the styling, right? Because we have a limited time already, you know. So in styling, what we are doing is, see, styling is basically majorly done using, okay, we are getting this thumbs up now. Now styling is basically majorly focused on using one question is, sorry, why here is ID and class? See, IDs and classes are here because classes is basically because I want to style buttons in a particular manner, right? I want to say like, if this is a button, it should have some padding, it should have some styling effect, it should have some hovering effects on all these things. So that I'll be doing using these classes, right? IDs are also over there because some button might need some different styles, right? This button might need a different style. If you want to customize this button is red, you can also get that by tapping into its ID, right? Because if you select the button and if you start modifying it, every button will get modified, right? So that is why we have given IDs as well. Cool then. Okay, Akshay is saying like if this is not sir, it can be possible. Exactly, tables we can also use to like give this a structure, but I generally prefer using flex boxes, right? To to what I mean, to give this layout, because flex boxes are generally responsive and they are very pretty easy to handle. That is why. Okay. So I believe like some people are having some issues with data values and all. So basically, what the thing is, we have a container called calculator container. I mean, a calculator division. Inside that, we have two sections called as a division display container and a buttons container, right? And inside division container will be, I mean, inside display container, this is that area, right? Just a minute. Let me take out my pen and let me clear things over here now. Yeah, this is our display area, right? And this is your button area. So in button area, what I've done is I've added these simple, this is a division, this is a division, this is a division. All these things are a division in itself. And all these things I have written just like this. That now you will say how these are button coming in like proper line, 4 buttons in a line, and then to the next line. All these things I've handled using CSS, right? CSS maybe I've used flex boxes majorly. I know that we have not covered flex boxes because flex boxes are a topic in itself, and explaining that would require 1 or 2 extra day for us. So that is why we have skipped at this moment. And I was, already telling you this, the main motive of this bootcamp is not to make you like super cool developer, super cool front-end developer in just like 1 week, because it is literally impossible to make you a super cool developer in just 1 week. We just want you to have an idea around like how the front-end development looks like and what all different things can we do with that. Right. So how I've done that part, I will explain that once we go to the styling. Right. So now the thing about data value is that I want to suppose if I clicked on that button, I want to get now what is the value of that button. Or suppose if I click on this particular button, I want to get what is the value of that particular button. That is why I've used this attribute called as a data value. So that I want to get if I want to get that value, how will I get that? Just by tapping into that value. Right, that I will show you. Don't worry. How can we get that thing? Cool then, right? I hope everyone is clear with this now. And also, please, if you are enjoying this, if you feel like okay, this is making some sense, and at the end of this, we'll have a perfectly functioning calculator. And as soon as we complete this, we can also host it so that you can directly share this calculator link with anyone in your families or anyone in your friend circle, so that you can flex these things. So please do like this stream as well, and please do share it with your friends, or please do consider subscribing as well. Cool then. So if this thing is done, now let's move to the next part. That is the styling area, right? So styling, we have done a couple of things. The first thing is this. This is something called as a resetting. Changing it to border box, right, instead of a content box. Although this will not make much sense, but see, the thing is in default version, what used to happen is there is some by default margins, there is some by default paddings from like here and there. So we have nullified that but just by writing this. And other thing is if we give some margins, or if we give some border border width and all, then that might change our box content, right? That might change our box dimension. So that was the reason of doing this first 2 lines. I know that these things might not be very clear to everyone right here, but yeah, just for the explanatory purpose, I have told that this is what you will find people writing on the very first line of their CSS, just to reset their CSS, because HTML provides some by default CSS from its own, but we don't want to use its CSS. We want to write everything from our scratch. Right now, these are very simple CSS that we have written. Right, first thing is about that calculator area, right? About that outer box. In outer box, what we have done is we are just doing we are setting this custom family. I mean, we are setting this as a custom form called as Courier New. That is why you are able to see some little fancy fonts written over here, right? And then we have width and height. We have also set. Why there is a need of, just a minute. Let me open this parallelly. So now we can see that this is responsive as well, right? If I've shrinked this area, this is looking very perfectly cool now. So this width and height area will just make sure that whatever our page size is will show the width in 45% of that, and will cover 80% of its height. Right? Background property, background color is just according to my taste. If you want to customize it, you can directly customize it. Then margins is just to make it to the center. Right, margin top, padding, border, all these are very simple property, and I hope you can comprehend what they are doing. Right, border will add a border radius will curvify this from the edges, right? And all these are very simple styling for the calculator area, right? For the outer box, right? I believe you are getting it. Just a minute. 7 touch in WhatsApp. So I think someone from the team have sent this WhatsApp group in the chat section. Go to their area and directly get joined to that attendance group. Will be sharing around like say 8:50 or something. Yeah. Just your live bootcamp now. Okay, that's great that you have joined to the bootcamp now. If you want to like explore more further about us, please do visit our channels and please do connect on that Telegram channels and all, so that you get like notification of all other upcoming things. I just got okay. Share the code. Share the. Definitely, I'll be sharing this code once we do this. I mean, once we complete this, and we'll also be showing you how we can make that, right? So can you please send the attendance sheet? I have not sent. I'll share. Okay, Himanshi is spamming this. Okay, so Himanshi, please don't spam this. I'll share the link. I mean, I'll share this code and I will even deploy this and I'll give this to you, right? Don't worry about that, right? Cool then. So please just understand whatever we are doing, right? The logical part is yet to come. I'll explain everything and I'll make sure that you will be able to make or you'll be able to customize the whole calculator according to you, right? Cool then. Chalo. Enough of the doubts. I mean, every doubts we have cleared. Now, there are particular thing about display container and this particular thing about called as what? The buttons container, right? So the major thing that we have done over like display container and the buttons container is we have used Flex, right? So what is Flex and what we have achieved with Flex is in this area, you can see that all these 4 buttons are like of unique of same size and they are getting arranged in this area, right? Very properly, right? So this is done using Flex boxes, right? How the Flex boxes are helping us with that is we are just saying ki the maximum height or like minimum height of all these container are fixed, right? And we have only given like ki in one area you want I want to get like 4 buttons only, and that for 4 buttons I need to get in like perfectly aligned manner. It's not like some button is coming smaller, some button is getting larger or all things like that, right? So if you are like if you have a little bit idea around like containers or flex boxes, you can see that the display flex means like you are initiating this display as a flex, right? Justify container, I mean this is for the display area, right? In display area you can see that everything that we write that will come from this end area, right? This particular area. We don't want to write this particular area, so everything will start seeing, right? Just how that we see in our calculator. So that these things like flex end and all these things, these 3 line are making us this happen. Flex end, justify content flex end will mean that we are starting from this particular area, right? From the left side of this. This is what, sorry, the right side of this. And this next line will mean we are starting at the bottom of this, right? If I would have not written this last line, what will happen is the text used to the text will come from the last line, but it will not come from the like bottom area. So by writing these 2 lines, what is happening is the text will come from this area, right? Now I know that this might not make very good sense at this moment because you are not having very good idea about flex, but yeah, this is what we can do in like very quick bootcamp. Also, if you are again interested in knowing more about like specifically all other properties about CSS, or if you want to like explore in React, or if you want to explore like more in JavaScript as well, or like more JavaScript centric course and all these things, please do give us your suggestions. If like we have a good number of people saying that please do come up with this bootcamp, please do come up with that bootcamp, we'll definitely take that as well. Cool then, right? So if this thing is very clear, now what we have to do is like all these things are again very simple things like height, width, margin, etc., so that our text looks like some a little fancy. Then we have this is just to make sure that whatever we are writing inside it, whatever content we are writing inside it, that should have like some margin, so that that does not come very close to the box, right? Now after that, what we have done is we have simple, the same thing is done over here, like display flex is done, the direction is row and all these things. What they are doing is they are making sure that our buttons comes very properly, right? I'm not going into each style and I'm not explaining each line because that is like not very logical step. That is like some styling part. You want to customize it, you want to like change it, you want to test it, you want to like have experiment around it, you are happy to do that. I mean, it's very simple thing. Just try playing with these fields and you'll get an idea ki what will these things make difference, right? Again, the button properties, we have set ki width we want this percent, height we want this percent, this is the area, or this is the color that we want of our button, this is the like border we want for our button, and this is like cursor pointer means ki as soon as I like enter on any button, like my cursor will change to this pointer area, right? If I am hovering outside, this is like normal pointer, but if I come inside that button, that is like showing that as a hand icon, right? So this is possible with this particular. and this particular thing is doing what? As soon as we hover on this button, what will happen is we'll change that color to this thing. And if anything is selected, then that color will also get changed to this orange bar, right? And all these are some simple style. If you want to like change to any other button, of any other button, please select that ID, please select that class, and give the background color and all these different properties that you want to give, right? I hope these things are also clear to everyone, right? And I'm also believing that you are getting whatever we are trying to say. Although it might be case right now you'll not get everything, like literally everything, but at least 10, 50, 60% to at least you will be getting what we are trying to do or what we have done. Right. So this is just the plain HTML part, HTML and CSS part. That is just for designing part. If you have any other designs, please go ahead with that. There is no issue with that. Now comes the most logical part. That is how do we write that? Right. So this is very fun part and this is very simple part, right? So I think we can go to that. Let's quickly see if we have any any remaining doubts, and please do give us a thumbs up, and please do let us know if you are understanding at this part and if you are very good to go to the next part. Okay, VH and VW, I thought I have told it earlier, but VH and VWs are basically like percentage, right? If I write VH means like viewport height, right? If I say 100 VH, that will cover my whole page. If I say 50 VH, that will cover my 50% of the height. VW is for viewport width. If I say 100 VW, that will mean 100% of the width. If I write 50 VW, that will mean like 50% of the width area. Okay, the code will be shared in the description. Definitely code will be shared in the description also. That will be added in your like the folder that we are having, right? Where you were accessing the PPTs. That will be available there as well. Yeah. Attendance link definitely will be sharing. Cool that. Okay, there is one other doubt, like what is flex wrap, right? So flex wrap is what that maybe suppose if you have if the content is flowing up, right? Maybe if we have extra space or if we have less space, or if the buttons are like if the buttons are coming out of this area, what will happen is this will push these buttons into the next line. This is how this is done using the flex wrap property, right? Cool. Then I believe yeah. Okay, VH and VW, so I have explained this already. VH is like viewport height, VW like VW, it is not WH. VW is viewport width, right, for the width area. Yeah, rem is like a unit. Rem is, suppose if you give px, you also give rem. Rem is basically a relative unit that is according to your root element, right? Don't worry, I'll share this code and you will you'll experiment around this and you'll probably figure out what is happening and what property is doing what thing. Right now, if these things are very clear to everyone, and now we are very good to go with the logical part. Before going to the logical part, I want you to have a mind image, like a structure in your mind, how we will be working and what we are trying to achieve, right? So this is fairly simple, very simple. This is right. What we will do is, see, we have buttons in categories, right? What all categories of button we have? We have some categories as plus, minus, multiply, divide, right? All these are one categories. These are our operators, right? I mean, we have different operators, but these are prime operators, plus, minus, multiply, divides, right? So these are operators. Now we also have something called as what? We have like AC, and we also have like C, right? What are these? These are clear buttons, right? Then we have what? We have number keys, right? We have, I mean, let's keep the number key at the end, but we also have equals to, right? Equals to is a very important thing, right? Equals is a thing, and now at the end what we have is, just a minute, let's take this. We have numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. until any other number, right? 0, etc. So these are numerics. So why I am writing all these things in different color is, see, the thing is very clear. We will just, first of all, we'll do what? We will add some event listeners to our button, right? Like we were doing in the first button, right? The first thing that I showed you in today's class, here we have a button. As soon as we click on that, we show some text. We do some particular function. We run particular function. So what thing first we are doing is we are adding an event listener to every button, right? Every button we will add that event listener. And as soon as that event listener is added to every button, what we will do is we will then start categorizing our buttons. Okay, if this is an operator, if this is a numeric, if this is an equal sign, or if this is a clear button. Right. So if these are operators, what we will do is we will do some particular operation. If these are like numerics, we will do some particular operation. If we are adding a equals, I mean, if we are clicking a equals to sign, then we will do some other thing. right? So I hope this thing is you are able to comprehend. We will add the, let me write these things into my page so that we will move into step by step order. Let's fully open this. First thing that we'll be doing is, first is add event. I mean, even before that, select buttons and display area. Let's zoom this a little bit. Display area. Yeah, add event listeners to all the buttons. Why we are adding event listeners to all the buttons? Because as soon as I click on any particular button, I want to run a particular function, right? Since we have done that, what we will do is we'll say, then segregate buttons in categories and do particular task, right? What do I mean by that is, see what will be the possible categories. Let's see that. What will be the possible categories of doing that? Let's see that. In 3.1, what could we do is, if buttons are operators, right? Then we will do some other things. Then see, this is just for the reference, so that if buttons are equals to, obviously, then we will say, yeah, again, see, GitHub Autopilot is helping me out in these things. Yeah. So all these things will be like our tick marks, or all these things will be our checkpoints. We will first of all start by doing our step 1. If we are clear with step 1, then we'll move to the step 2 point, and then we will move to the step 3 area. Right? Okay. So are we clear till this point? Quickly give me a thumbs up if you are able to understand what we are trying to say. And if you're not very clear what are we trying to do, don't worry. As I'll start doing these things, you'll have an understanding what we are doing. Right then? Cool. So first thing is, what we are doing is, you know the thing, right? We'll maybe say like buttons, and we will do the same thing, document.getElementById, or you can do that query selector all as well. But since we have not discussed query selector in like very much depth, so I'll again want to go with the getElement by class name, and I'll just write what is the class name of all these buttons. The class name of all these buttons are button only, right? So I'll quickly select them over there, and please do make sure that attendance link, don't worry, that will be shared, right? Why are you in so much hurry? So in attendance, I'm sorry, in that buttons, what we are doing is, we have selected every button, and you know this already, if we are selecting this by class name, we'll have an array, kind of an array situation, where this buttons will have like some that will contain all these buttons that we have, right? How we can leverage that we'll see in a moment. But since we have selected that button, it's now our moral duty we select the display areas, right? So we have done we have taken another variable called as a display, right? And let's see, yeah, that ID is display. So I think it would be better, we have selected that by ID, and we have given that display ID, right? So now what we have done is, we have triggered, we have collected that button variables, all these buttons, and we have collected that display area. Now it's our time to add event listener to every button, right? Cool then. So there will be a little change now. What will be the little change? Suppose if this would have been one button only, I would have done what thing? I would have done button.add event listener, right? Add event listener, something like that. Yeah, this is what I would have done. But the change over here is ki button is not one single variable, right? We have like an array of buttons. If you try to print this, or if you try to log this thing, you'll probably get an array that contains all these buttons, all these elements, because there are number of elements in our page. So I cannot just directly add an event listener to all of these buttons just by writing buttons.add event listener, right? I cannot just write buttons.add event listener and it will not work. Right. So what is the simple way of doing that? Suppose I have an array, right? I have an array called as buttons in a variable. I want to iterate to each button. I want to iterate to each value, and I want to do what? I want to add event listener to each thing, right? So how can I do that? I believe if you, someone of you who have some programming knowledge, you might say this answer. You do one thing now. Do run a loop. We have also covered that, right? About loop, how do we run that? We'll also say like maybe I equals to 0. Start from 0. Go till what? Sorry. Go from till, just a minute, till buttons length, right? Why we are going? Why we are going to buttons length? Buttons dot length. Button dot length is a function, guys, right? What that function will do? That function will say, since button is an array for us, right? So that will return the total length of this area, and we will start from the 0th index and we'll go till the last element that we have in that, and we'll iterate that and we'll say ki plus plus. And inside that, what we will be doing is, we'll be doing nothing, but we'll be writing buttons ka I dot add event listener, right? And yeah, this is what we have done till this point. I believe this will some of you might find it a little bit tricky, but it's not very tricky unless until you know like about arrays, and unless until you also know like about loops, right? So we are just doing what we are collecting all these button in this variable, and we are starting a loop from 0th index. Why 0th index? Because array has values from 0th index till the last index. What is the last index? Buttons dot length, because that is a function that will give us the length. Since once that is done, what we are doing is we are tapping into each button by going into buttons.i, and then we are doing this thing, just add an event listener to that particular button, right? So this is a way of doing that. You cannot just write buttons.add event listener and it will not work with every button, right? So now, since once this is done, this is very simple. Now what you will say, first of all, you'll say as soon as you click on that, do one thing, do run a function. Maybe let's call this function as a calculate function, CALCULATE. Yeah. So with this line, what we have done is we have just said ki as soon as we click on any of this button, do run this calculate function, right? So let's write this function and let's test this. First of all, we'll just say function calculate, and I only want to test this, and I only want to maybe show the console log, and I want to say like button is running, right? Button is clicked or something, right? What I've done is I've selected every button, and what I am doing is, let's go to that part and let's see this in action. I'm opening my console area now. Yeah, in this thing, see, as soon as I click on this, now you can see the button is clicked. As soon as I click on any of this button, now you can see the number is coming as 2, right? Why it is coming 2? Because that message is printing 2 times. If I click on this, see, the number is printing 3 times, right? So this is very easy peasy. I hope you are able to get this, what I am trying to do over here. Right then, okay, so buttons dot length minus should be buttons dot length minus 1 we have not done, because we are starting from 0, right? If we have started from 1, then only we have been doing that. Cool then. So I hope now you are able to get an idea ki what is the step forward, right? The next thing is simply, since we have selected the button area and that we have added that 2 things, so 2 things are done, right? Now comes to third part, that is we have to segregate whatever buttons we have according to their value, and then we will run some particular operations on that. Right. So as you know, first of all, the first thing that we'll be doing over here is we'll be writing this key. Now this there comes a little bit tricky part, right? What is that tricky part? Now we want to say like what is the value of that button clicked, right? Suppose if you have clicked any button, right? Right now, if I was clicking 7, or if I was clicking 8, or if I clicking divide, everything was showing that same message. But we cannot run same function, or we cannot do same things unless and until we know this particular value of this particular button, right? Are you getting this or not? So our task now here is that we need to get what button is clicked, right? How we will be doing that is, we'll be getting that by writing, where is that function for us? Yeah. We also have to select the value that we are writing, but yeah, we'll maybe probably choose a variable called as value, right? What is that value? That value will be whatever value that button contains, right? We have added this particular thing called as a data value, right? Because we want to get whatever value the button contains. So how will we get that? That is a tricky part. I will explain a little bit later. Let me take all other variables, right? Suppose if we have clicked on that button and we have get the value that button contains, now we also want to like change, or we also want to see what is the value in the display area also, right? Because suppose if I click on 7, I want to print 7 in my display area, right? So that is why I will also create a variable called as what? Text, right? And I will say this as, this is the fairly simple thing. So I'll write it simply. I'll simply say, see, just in a minute, you remember this. We have selected that particular display area and we have given this a name called as a display. So what I want to see is, I want to see whatever there is inside my display area. I want to get this thing over here. I'll simply say display.innerHTML, right? Why inner HTML? I believe we have discussed in the last class that whatever is inside this particular element will be shown over here, right? Let's quickly do one thing. Let's quickly try to console log this, console.log. Quickly, let's try to log the text area, right? Let's see what we get at this area, if I click on any button, right, you'll see that everything that we are getting is a like plain blank area, right? Why we are getting this blank thing? Because nothing is written in our page, right? Now I'll quickly go into my HTML. I'll change this part. I'll say maybe like I'll write 99 over here, and I'll see what will happen if I see 99 will be hard coded, but if I click on 5, 99 will be printed, right? Why 99 is printed? Because we have first, where is this JavaScript? Yeah, we have first fetch whatever was written in our page, and we've given this into a variable called as text, and now we are trying to print it, right? This is a fairly simple thing. The way of writing that might sound that might look different, but yeah, this is a fairly simple thing, right? Now if that thing is done, we need to get what is the value of that button, right? So how we can get that is, we can see one thing that we can write is, we can directly write value equals to we can write like get attribute, right? Get attribute is a thing, attribute data value, right? This thing will do what? This thing will give the value of that particular attribute, right? We are using that data value, right? This attribute we are using. So as soon as we write get attribute, this will get the value that button that particular area is containing. But there is a minor like problem over here. What is this minor problem? Suppose if we have clicked on any button, how will I before adding to that, I have to give the particular area. Maybe I want to say like buttons ka 5 dot get attribute, right? But I am not able to comprehend now what button I have selected. Might be the case I have selected the first button, might be the case I have selected the 10th button, might be the case I have selected the like what I have selected some other button, right? So how will I judge what thing I have passed, or what button was clicked, right? So this is very simple, right? What is that? If you know a little bit about this, right? So I'll just write this dot get attribute. Now you'll say, what is the use of this? Is this predefined, or we have added that? So this thing is a predefined thing. What this will do for us is, if you have like clicked on any particular thing, that will contain this alongside it, right? If you have clicked on button if you have clicked on button 10, that button 10 value will be accessible using this keyword, right? So this has something to do with OOPS programming, like object oriented programming. I'll not go over there because that is a very different area to go. I'll just say if you want to get what button was clicked and all these properties of that button, just write this and you'll get that thing, right? How that is working internally might be a little tricky. That is why I'm not touching that area. Just by writing this, what you will see is, let's log this, right? I mean, you'll only believe me until I show you, unless and until I show you that area, right? Unless and until I show you the like the practical part of that, right? So I have just written that, and I know you are asking for attendance link. Just a minute, let me show you whatever value we are getting, and after that we'll continue with our area, and I'll share the attendance link with you, right? So please note over that console area. If I click on 5, can you see 5 written over here, right? If I click on 9, can you see 9 written over here? If I click on divide, can you see this, right? So major task, our major task is done, right? We have segregated what value we are trying to get and what is the value of that, right? Just a minute, let me open up my chat and let's see what people are asking. Yeah, people are asking about this. Easy peasy. Okay, great. Good job though. I came late and bootcamp was okay, cool then. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you are able to get this. Now quickly share, let me share that let me share that attendance link with you, because I know you have been waiting to fill that attendance link. But I would recommend please do give us like 10-15 more minutes, because this is very important thing, and will be this is kind of a bonus thing for you. You'll be able to like host it also, right? And this is not very much remaining. This is just like 5-10 minutes remaining to understand this project, because this is again fairly simple, right? Cool then. So I have given that link. Just a minute here. My chats got freezed for a moment. Cool then, cool, right? So yeah, we were discussing about this, and I have also showed you now how we are able to get this things wherever we click. If I click on AC, I'm getting that value. If I click on equals to, I'm getting that value, right? So isn't this very simple for us now? It's very simple, right? Why it is very simple? Because now we have got everything, right? Now we have got whatever value is there inside it. Now we have got whatever button we are selecting, right? I'll send you the code. Don't worry. Yeah, you want to know? Yeah, everyone wants to know the logic behind this, because once you get this right, I'm not here just to say this is right this way and this will work, right? I'm here to make you understand the logic and make you fall in love, because every time you will not create like JavaScript, every time you will not create calculators from any other video, right? You need to know how we can do that. Once you know that, you will be able to create any calculator on your own. Cool then. So if this is done, what we will do is like, since we have added the value, we have got this thing. Now let's see the third step. Third step, we have to segregate these particular values according to, like, if these are operators, if these are equals to, if these are numbers, right? So I'll quickly do one thing. I'll quickly say if what is this thing, value, right? If value is equals to what? If that is equals to plus, or if value equals to what? Equals to, yeah, see, this is helping me out in that. I'll not take this suggestion, but I'll only write this. What I'm doing is I'm saying if this is plus, if this is minus, if this is multiply, if this is divide, right? All these operations we want to do, right? All these operations we want to handle in a separate category. We want to take, this is an operator for us, right? I'm not writing the code inside it, the logic inside it, because that we will cover later. I'll only want to segregate these things right now for a moment. If this is operators are done, and if this is an equal signs we will do at end, because equals maybe have to do something else. We'll see if these is clear button, right? If value equals to clear के लिए we have AC value, right? If you remember this, clear ka value is AC for us. So if we are checking just if the value is AC, that means we are trying to clear things. Just a minute, let me also write comments over here. If value is an operator, right? If value is clear, or I should say all clear, right? And then what else we have? We have equals, we have numbers, we have also we have some other keys, some special keys. If you see, we have a negate sign, right? If the number is positive, it will make it a negative. If the number is negative, it will make it a positive. We also have to consider that it is also a percentage sign as well, right? So quickly do that. Let's do that. If the value is negate sign, negate sign. So I'll simply do thing what value equals. What is the value we are trying? What is the value that we are passing with that area? What is that thing? Where is that button? Yeah, we are trying. Sign we are checking, right? So if we click on this thing, we will have sign in our value. So I'll quickly say if that is equal to sign, then we'll have to do some particular thing. Then we'll if value is what is percentage, right? Is percent. So we'll also say value equals percentage, right? This is, I believe we have written over here. Yeah, the value of that is percentage. Now we have also considered that. Now what else is remaining? Percentage is done, all these things done. One thing is remaining. What is that? That is a decimal part, right? So we also have to consider that if the thing that we have done is if value is decimal, we'll say if value equals dot. I believe that dot is we have done for that. Where is that decimal? Quickly, that is dot for us, right? So I believe we have successfully categorized everything, right? One thing is remaining. What if these are buttons, right? So quickly tell me one thing, ki if we have said ki clear ka we have done, this plus minus we have done, multiply, percentage we have done, all these operators we have done. Just a minute, I think we missed that equal sign, right? Let's also, if value is equals, I'll simply write value equals, right? If this is a thing, then we'll write some other code around it. But if we have considered everything, right? If we have said ki if this is that, now do we need to check 1, 2, 3, 4 separately? We will say if we click on any other thing, right? Any other button that is not all these things, that will mean what? That will mean ki this is a number for you, right? Is this thing clear to a gate sign? That is handled, and everything is handled. Now we will say else, right? Everything remaining, everything apart from that will be a number, definitely. If that is a number, if value is a number, right? So once we have done that, 90% of our coding is done, right? 90% of our making calculator is done. Just a minute, let me also remove that 99 from HTML area, because that will create some problem, right? Then quickly tell me if you have any doubts with any sort of doubt with this point. Let's see if we have any interesting thing in our, yeah. So all everyone is enjoying this part, right? I believe. Now then, if these things are making sound, please give us a thumbs up if these things made some sense to you, like what all these things are, how we have segregated that, right, and why we are playing on that value button, that value area. Now just quickly, I'll take 1-2 minutes to complete this. Now suppose there is one addition to that, right? Till now we have just looked at the surface area. Now how will we calculate that, right? That is a task in itself. Let me show you first. Let me show you thing. Suppose if we click on anything, right? If I say ki, we'll be having this fundamental thing. Let me show that. Let me write that for you. We'll be having 3 variables. What all these 3 variables will be? One be operator 1. One will be operator 2. One will be a variable called as operator, right? So these all 3 variables will have as like initial variables. Initially, they will all contain null, because maybe suppose if someone, yeah, if someone just enters into our calculator and they just want to say like equals to, there is no point of like giving any answers, because everything is null. We have not given operator 1, we have not given operator 2, we have not given any operator, right? So what we are doing is we are just initializing 3 variables. And what is the use of that? That is very important part. So as soon as I write any number, right? As soon as I write any number, maybe I'm writing 8, 1, 2, 9, anything like that. Now everything, if we are writing numbers, that will print, that will show in our page, right? That will appear in our display area, right? Now as soon as I click on this plus button, or maybe on minus button, divide button, multiply button, I want to do what? I want to make sure ki acha, if you are pressing plus button after entering any number, that means what? That means ki this is your operand number 1, right? I hope this is making some sense. Please like give your 100% attendance over 100% attention over there, because this is a slightly tricky part. So I am saying if you are entering any number, let the user enter that, right? Let the user show that, let the browser show that in the display area. And as soon as you click on any operator, right? Plus, minus, multiply, divide, what should happen is whatever value was there in the display area, please take out that value and put that into operator 1. Why operator 1? Because if I've added plus, minus, anything, that means ki our operator 1 is set now. Now we want to give operator, right? So as soon as these things will happen, any operator will be pressed, then the operator 1 will be set, right? Now so suppose if operator 1 is set, and if we come across any situation wherever we press plus, minus, multiply, divide, that will also mean ki operand is also set, right? If I'm saying 8, 1, 2, 9 plus, that will mean ki operator 1 to set hai, operator 2 is also set, because we have given an operator, right? I hope this is making some sense. If it is not making any sense, don't worry. I'll write some line and you'll definitely get it what I'm trying to do, right? So till this point, we will have to make 3 variables, and then we will start like doing the first part. That is how will you handle that operator area, right? So I'll just do one part. I'll just go into the code and I'll say, before even doing that, I'll probably write these 3 variables over here. Variable operator 1 equals to null. Or maybe if you want to give this simple thing, you can also do operator 2 is also null, and variable operand equals to also null, right? So these are what? These are for like calculation purpose only, right? For calculation, CL, calculating the result, or maybe calculating the purpose, right? So these are for what? Now hear me out very properly what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, where is that thing? Acha, one more thing will be there. Suppose if you are taking the text, right? If you are reading whatever is written in our area, we can also do one more thing that is called as a dot trim will do what for us? Ki suppose if our input area contains some space, right? If you are writing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there is some space, maybe due to some spacing issues that we have given in our HTML, we don't want to count that space for a moment, right? Because that might differ our answers. So by writing dot trim, what will happen is it will remove any extra space from our numbers that we are reading, right? I hope that is making some sense. That is, if you want to avoid it, you can also avoid it. This is just for like an extra like added option, right? It is purely optional. If you want to skip it, please, you can skip that, right? Now, since once we have done that, now what we want to do is as soon as we have let's do some simple part first of all. Maybe I want to suppose if I've hit that AC button. I want to clear everything that is on my page. How can I do that? I can just do that by writing display.innerHTML ko null kar do, right? Just nullify that. Just remove everything that is there in my page, right? So I can do that by just by writing display.innerHTML equals to like null. So everything that is written in my page will get off, right? Now, if this thing is making sense, now let's come to the trickiest part. That is, if we have entered the operator, what we want to do is we want to say like read whatever was there in the display, right? Because obviously if you have pressed any display, if you have pressed any operator, that means that you have given your operator one and store it in operator one. Also take the button pressed as your operator, right? I hope this is making some sense. If this is not making some sense, don't worry, like hear me out whatever I'm writing and you'll probably get that, right? I want to do one thing. I want to write I want to say I have to read that na? I will say operator 1 equals to text. I can directly write that. I can say whatever is in my text area, do read that and fix that value over here, right? But sometimes that problem might happen is whenever we will be reading this thing from our input area, this might count this as a text area. I mean, this might count this as a character, right? If I'm reading 23, if I'm writing 29 or something, that might count if this is a string or what. So to avoid that confusion, what we will do is we'll write a function called as a parse flow, right? What that will do is that will be very simple thing. Whatever we are reading, right, that will convert that simple thing into a float number. What is a float? Suppose my number might contain some decimal thing, so that will contain like read that as a numeric form, and that too is with a like decimal area, right? So this is what I'm doing over here. I'm just reading that number as a rand one because I got because these are operands, right, not operators. Operands, operand one, and this is an operator for us. OPE are operator spelling kya hota? What is the OPE are ATO? Yeah. So what this will do is, see, I've given the wrong names because like it was grammatically error. It was not like this will not work if I give like operator 1 or operator 2, right? This was like minute fault. I will say operand 1 and I will write operator. You can still do with that. There will not be any problem with that. And I want to give this a value, right? What is that value? Whatever we have pressed. If we have pressed plus, then operator will become press. If we have pressed minus, operator will become minus. If we have plus star, operator will become star. If we have pressed divide, that will contain divide, right? I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Let's go to the chat section and let's see what doubt we are having, and if any doubts we have. I cannot see any things. Just a minute. If you have any doubts or any problems with that, please do ask that in the chat section. At this moment, I'm not able to see. Just a minute. Let's check that from this area. Oh, okay. Thanks, man. If you are liking this. So thanks a lot. Love you are doing. This might be the case that you might be thinking this is a little bit tricky part if you are learning this for the first time. The quiz link will be shared tomorrow. Right now, please focus at this point, right? Whatever I'm saying, please do listen at least. You'll probably get that what I'm trying to say. If you have doubts or something, please do ask. I'll also answer them. It's not like I'll not answer your doubts. I'll not answer your questions, right? I'll definitely answer your question, but please do ask. Cool then, right? So I hope you are getting this. If you have doubts, please do ask. Now, this is all the very simple thing. We have get that part. And now we want user to enter the next operand, right? One thing we can do is we can directly we can directly say the user, please do enter everything that you are writing after the text that we have written. But that will not be very good thing for us because suppose if we let the user to write anything after that, what will happen is he will have to read the whole thing and then we have to segregate where was the operator and then read the next part. So what we will do is we will directly say just remove everything that is on our page now. Suppose this will also happen if you were writing anything, if you are writing number and then you press the click, if you press the plus button or if you press the multiply button, what will happen is the text that was there, that will get removed. Why it will get removed? So that you will write the next number that you want. So I have removed that text now. I have emptied that area now. And once I have done, I'm done for this part, right? And now I will let the user to write the second thing for us. Now, how will I know at what point the user have entered the second part? Is when the user will enter the equals to sign, right? So we will handle that equal to thing over here. We will say, like, if that part is done, right? If the user is pressing equal, so that means he has entered the next number, or he or she has entered the next value. And how will we do that? We'll just do that by writing. See, do one thing again, read whatever was written in the, yeah, just a minute, there is no need of doing that. We'll say read whatever that was written in the text area. What is the text area? That whatever was in the display area, right? So read that as a float number and place that into the operand, right? If that is done, now our task is very simple. We'll say that calculate the result now. Calculate the result. How we calculate the result is fairly simple. One function we write that we will see in a moment, right? So yeah, till this point, I mean, are you getting any problems or not? I mean, is everything clear? How we are getting the first operand and then how we are setting the operator. And as soon as the user clicks on equals to, then we will say, okay, we have got our second operand now, and now it's time for calculation. Right? Any problems with that? Okay, cool. Right, I believe everyone is getting things clear now. Now this is this will not take very much long time. I'll quickly finish this up now. Now all these other things, like if we have signs, how will we like handle this sign thing? That is also very simple thing. We will say whatever that is written over here, right? We will first of all where like temp display or display like text, we can write existing text, let's write existing text. We will say whatever there is in our area, right? We'll read that, and once that is read, what we'll do is we'll simply say ki var times var existing text times equals to existing times time multiply by times -1, right? Why -1? Or we have to show this as well. So I'll write -1 times -1 times this, right? So once that done, we'll be directly showing that. I will show us that just by writing that, right? So what I have written over this part is I have took whatever was written in the first part, right? Whatever was written existing in our stage, and I've just multiplied that with -1, right? Now you'll say, what if the number was already negative? See, if the number is already negative, what will happen? If we multiply a number with -1, the number will get positive, right? So we don't need to check if it is already negative or something. We'll just do that part, and we will place the thing into our display init HTML, right? That will place everything that is like was there, just minus it with, I mean, just negate it and just put it over there, right? So if that is also done, we will also say percentage ka we will do that in a moment. We'll also say one thing that we have to write is, as soon as anything else, right, any number is done, what we want to do, we want to show that in our page now, right? After writing so many things, let's test this out first of all, and let's see what is happening, like if anything is happening or not. So if I maybe click on anything, right, just please do like focus over here. If I'm pressing 8, can you see this little 8 coming over here, right? Why 8 is coming? Because obviously we are pressing a number. If 9 is pressed, all these things are pressed, all these things are going very quickly, very smoothly, right? If I press on AC, what will happen? Boom, everything is getting display, I mean everything is getting out of area, but one thing is problematic. The display over, why we are getting AC over here and why we are not, just a minute. If value is AC, display dot inner text equals to, we'll be making this as negative, right? We are making this as empty. Yeah, this should go well, but maybe there is some little, okay, this is fixed now. Maybe there was some temporary issues or what. Now if I do one thing, like if I write any number and if I try to press any operator, right, please do notice, if I add plus, can you see that everything that was there in my page got vanished, and I can only see plus now, right? I also believe like for this part we also need to empty that part. Yeah, that part is also empty. Now if I try to print operator, operand 1, can you see 789 is here? Why 789 is here? Because as soon as we click on any operator, the operand 1 is getting set it. Right now, if that is set it, if we try to check operator, see operator is also coming 1, right? If I reload this and I want to show to any other number, if I write 45 and if I write minus, right, what will happen is, again, if I try to operand 1, PERAND 1, see 45 is coming over here, and if I write operator, operate, OPERA, what is the spelling? If I print operator, now the minus is coming over, right? So this is fairly simple thing. Everything is almost done. VS could be like, don't worry, I'll complete this, space between may work. Okay, so yeah, okay, yes, all clear. Okay, some people are getting things. For those of you who are not getting everything very properly, I understand, because this is a little tricky for you. But the only catch over here is, see, I've explained everything in like paper first of all, right? How will we take that? If you are a little bit stuck, or if you want to have like very, I mean, some clarity over that, please go to that particular area, right? That particular section where I was discussing that. And if you go through that part once again, I'll guarantee you that you'll definitely get it. If you still have any problems, do ask that into the chat section. I'm happy to take any of that out. Right? It's not like I'm just explaining and not taking doubts. Right? Cool. Then, if that is done, right, almost everything is done. We just need to take some other doubts. I mean, some other areas as well. See, this is the fairly simple part. If we are hitting on to that percentage area, right, we just only want to do the same things that we were doing earlier. Just that instead of multiplying, instead of just doing it with -1, so var, and I'll just divide that part with 100, right? Why 100? Because obviously doing percentage of any number will mean like you are dividing that with 100, right? And I'll fix that part over here now, right? So yeah, I believe percentage part is also done, right? Now there is one simple part remaining, that is your like dot part, right? If you want to add decimal to any number, how will you do that, right? So if you are adding decimal to any number, right, you have to make sure that there is no decimal in that number first of all, because you cannot add multiple decimals in your in your number, right? Can you add multiple decimals? No, right? There will be only one decimal in your point. So how will you do that? Is it's very simple. You first of all have to check if that text contain that dot or not, right? What is that thing? That is your text. You'll simply write one thing. You will simply go there and you'll write over this part, if not contains text dot include, right? This is fairly simple programming things. If that does not contains your dot in any sense, right, you'll write this particular thing, and what will be that thing? You will say that again, take that same thing from here, just add a dot after that, right? Or maybe not even doing that, we can directly write, let's do that, this thing text equals to text, and we will say key display dot, what is that thing? Display dot inner HTML. Where is this? Inner HTML is this, right? So this will do what? This will add a dot at the end of that number, right? And if that is also done, I believe everything is done. Just that we need to calculate, right? How will we calculate? See, everything is done, right? Just we need to calculate. Calculating is a fairly simple thing. There is one thing called as eval function, right? This thing will do what? You have to write, you have to give your operator, operand 1, operator, and then operand 2, right? If you give this, then that will give you the answer, right? So how will we do that? Since we already have we have already took our operator 1, operand 1, operand 2, and we have already took our operator. So this is fairly simple. Now we will say that evaluate may take operand 1 first of all, then give that a space. We will have to give a little space between that, because if you just write it this way, if I write evaluate 2 plus 9 or something, right? This will not work in this way. You have to give some space between that, right? So for that, we are adding a little space over here. Let me do that. This is a built-in function, by the way, right? I write that and I'll write operator, and then again these same thing will I'll be writing. I'll writing over plus operand 2, yeah. Cool. Then just a minute, there is an extra space, and I'll write this, right? So what is happening is, if you get this thing right, let me show you how this will work and what is the purpose of that. If I write it this way, what will happen is we have just got our answer. We will just get our answer in this value. First of all, let's try to get that thing logged now. Yeah, we'll try to log that, and once that is logged, we also need to like print it also, right? We also need to show it on our screens as well. First of all, let's see if we are getting the right values or not. Then only you will be printing that in our screen, right? Cool then, right? Suppose if I write 78, and if I write plus, what if I want to write plus 18, and if I click on this, can you see that 19 is printing 78 plus, okay, that is 96, right? I should have written something else to make it to 100, but yeah, I mean, we can see that valuation is working properly, right? Even if I like clear this, and if I write like 82 plus what, 82 times maybe 2, right? What will happen is, see, the answer of that will be a little bit different. Why it is different now? Just a minute. Have we not cleared that? Okay, that thing is because see, I think we need to do that, because that thing is not maybe yeah. Let's see now, because that thing was not getting cleared properly, right? You can see that 2 was populating over there. If we write 78 times maybe 6, right, again the 6 is getting populated. Just a minute, I think as soon as we click on this operand now, as soon as we click on that, we need to remove that as well from here. If you have clicked on that part, we have got that operator, and now we want to clear the whole HTML, right? And even after doing that, just a minute, why there is a little bit issue with the sign, right? If that is plus, if that is divide, if that is yeah, that is done. Just a minute, there is one minor issue that is forcing us to with this problem. That is why that sign is not getting cleared, right? If I again write, if I divide 7 by maybe what, if I divide 7 by 1, okay, plus me, it was working properly. Let's see, until then, if you have any doubts, please do ask. I am fixing that thing first of all. Let's take some doubts if you have. Between space between dot may not print AC. Let's check. This is I also believe this is something that is not working properly. Just a minute. Data value we have checked that part as well. Click area is done. We have get that value in the value area, right? We have also trimmed it, by the way, so that we don't face around any problem. If that is plus or that is minus, if that is multiply, if that is this, we'll first of all take operand 1, we'll float that, we'll take this operator 2 as value, then we'll display this part as empty, right? If I, okay, maybe the case that I should have done this in this way, although this will not make much sense, but yeah, let's do it. If that AC is pressed, we'll just like nullify that, and if the dot is printed, that then this will be done. If operator is printed, yeah, if operand values is printed, right? If we just come across this equals to part, what we will do is we will take that, we'll take the result part, and we'll try to, like, let's see if something happens now or not. I believe this should work now. If I write plus now, this is working properly, but maybe there is, why is our multiply and other options are not working? If I write 6, okay, it is working. Maybe there was some little like small confusion over there, that is why it was not working. If you have got operand 1, then we have got like some space. Okay, that space should be like in this way now. Yeah, if I write it this way now, I need to give a proper space between that. There is no issue with that. Cool then, right? Okay, now our calculator is quick, like fixed. Now if I write any other calculation, if I do like 45 minus 5 or something, if I write this, now you can see the 50 is getting option. But the scene is ki as soon as we do the calculation, we need to show that in our page, right? How will we show that in our page? It's fairly simple. If we have got that into result variable, it's our duty to do what thing? To do display.innerHTML and log that print that over area over here, and please do quickly reset all these values for us, right? Operand 1 will become your result, right? Why it will become your result? Suppose if you have added like 10 to 20 and you have got 20 as a result, now you want to do some other operations with 20, right? So if you directly press plus, what will happen is the whatever value that you're adding will get added to 20, right? Instead of adding a fresh value, because else we will only be able to do one calculation at a time, right? Which we don't want. We will say that operand 2 will be null, yeah, and operator will become your null, right? that is, everything is done now. It's okay, okay, that is done. So now we are good to go, and I believe our project is also done. And even if you try to do any other project, like any other operation, that will also work. Like let's divide 48 by what, 6 is divided by 48, right? If I write this now, you can see, okay, there is some problem again that is happening with the divide part. What if we just write it this way? Let's do one thing. Operator operand 1, operand 2 is written, eval function is written very properly. If that is equals to, we have got the operand 2. Just give me a minute, guys. I'm not very sure what just went wrong. Let's go through the project, like let's go through the whole code one by one. We have got our buttons. We have selected that. We have got display, right? We have selected that operand 1 is null, operand 2 is null, operand 3 is null. Now we have selected that part. We have got buttons, right? See, these types of things happen, right? It's not like I prepared this for earlier and I've just delivered that, right? I was also doing this parallelly. I was just mind mapping this, thinking how can this be done. Now these things will definitely happen if you are a developer, right? And these things should not bother you, because this is your skill. How do you like resolve these bugs, right? So also, like, you learn so many things if you start resolving these things, right? So yeah, this is done. The add event listeners is done. Then we have, as soon as we click on that, then we want to run this calculate function. Inside that calculation function, what is happening is, what we have got a value, and that value is like get attribute of that. We have got whatever button value contains. Then we have also got whatever there is in our inner HTML. And we will check first of all if it is a plus, if it is a negative, if this is if this is a multiply, and if it is a delete, right? If any of this satisfy, then we'll take out one, we'll take out this first thing for us, or just a minute, we'll take out whatever there is in the text area, whatever there is in the input area, and we will also set our input, like we'll set our operator value to this, right? So instead of writing this, can we not like give this line before, although this will not make much difference. Yeah, we'll display this area, and we'll take this area off. We'll replace this, and then we will say key, okay, if this is also done, we'll take operators as its original value. And yeah, if we print if we do this, okay, just a minute, why we are only doing with if only, right? We'll say else if now. See, this is the problem, I believe. I got this thing now. See, got it. See, this was a very like silly mistake, right? Silliest mistake, because if you write so many if, what will happen is that will check everything, and then at the end it will take this as a else situation, right? I got the problem, right? This was a very silly mistake of mine. Now I hope this should work properly. If I write if I write any 49 plus 1, again 49 plus 1 will work in a right way, right? 50 is getting our answer. If I write like 58 divided by what, 58 is divisible by what, let's divide this by 3 now, and let's see the answer. See, you can see the answer, right? Now it is working perfectly. There was a very silly mistake about using that if else, right? Everything is fine now, right? If you want to check it across any parameter, if you want to check it, like if this negate is working, if I want to check the percentage of that, you will see like 0.78 is there, right? Now there is, if I want to like if I want to negate 98, if I write this button, minus 98 is there, right? If I want to do what all function are there, if I want to like 52.3 I want to write, and I want to like add like 8 into that, you'll get your perfect answer, right? 60.3 is everything. Right, so I hope you have got this, and I hope I have explained this very well, right? If you have any silliest doubt in this, please do ask, right? I know that we have like took some more time, some extra time, but I think this is worth it, right? Because we have been like learning how we can build logic, right? How we can build so many other things. We are not just doing things for sake of doing it. Right. So if these things are very, very clear to you, please give us a thumbs up, right? So that we know ki, okay, our our hard work is like very successful, and you have got something. And if you want to explore this code, if you want to like jump into code and try do some other things, we'll also be providing you that. Before that, let's quickly see the deployment part of that, right? Quickly give us a thumbs up if you are there at this point. And now we can move to the deployment part. Right, deployment part is fairly simple. There is a service called Netlify. In that, there is a service that gives you like free hosting thing. If you have a static website, you can host that for free, right? So I'll go to that. Just go to that. I have already an account with them. So like search sorry, Netlify search and just log in into it. You have to create an account if you are doing that for the first time. Just create an account and this will something look like it, right? Although you'll not have like the whole interface like me, because I've been hosting other projects over here as well. You'll probably find this area. Yeah, you'll probably find this particular area and you'll say ki, okay, drag your file and folder that contains your files, right? Or maybe you could find this area and you'll find add new site and click on this deploy manually, right? This is the like fairly simple thing. I'm not explaining, I'm not going into very much detail, because you can just figure out by going into that platform. In the dashboard area, you'll find this add new site button over here. Click on that, click on deploy manually, and we will go to our folder, right? This is our folder. We'll separate it now. Yeah, we'll separate it now, and I'll drop this folder over here, and we will wait for the magic to happen. We'll wait for the magic to happen. It will take some time to host this properly. Site has not been deployed because it is uploading, right? And cool that, please. Then I'll take one more minute to repeat everything that we have done, because you might need a revision of that. But till then, I want to like host it so that everyone here knows how do we host it. Hosting is fairly simple. You can also host it with Heroku. You can host it with GitHub pages and everything. But this is the simplest way of doing that. So that is what I'm doing right over here. And let's refresh the page and let's see. Okay, this is live now. And if I click on this, this is the random URL that has given us. Now it is working the same, right? If you want to like check this on your own machine, I can give this like link to everyone, and let's see if this is working for you or not, right? See, I'm providing this link. Please do check out in your systems, in your machine, if this is working perfectly for you or not. I can guarantee that this will work perfectly for you as well. Now, if you want to customize it, right, because this is not looking very much cool, you can go to that site setting over here. To that domain setting. You can click on that, and you can see that option is here. You can say that edit site name, and maybe I want to say like what edspread calculator, right? And if I hit save, what will happen? If that username is available, okay, that username is available. I'll click on that part, and now that part is still live. That is again live. Boom. You can also check that part, and that will again work the same way, right? That says how you can like check it. If you have, you can like browse it, and in the similar way, you can go through the whole video. You can go through the whole code, and you can customize it according to you, and you can like change that, right? Okay, we have some doubts. So your teaching method is very good, but I still literally because I'm not on the box chapter. Okay, so thanks a lot, Lalit, for this appreciation, because I've been putting. We all are putting some time so that you can learn things in a better way, right? If it would have been like any other like channel or any other bootcamp area, they would have just given you the code and they would have just said ki, Acha, this is how it will look, and just like work it, right? I have not insisted on that part. I have insisted on that part ki you should get whatever we are doing, right? What is the motive behind doing that and why we are doing that, right? I hope our effort is like successful and you have got something. Right. Again, I'll repeat this everything, and I know okay, this might be tough for those who are like very new to JavaScript and who are very like confused about some programmatic like areas as well, right? So don't worry. This come will time. This will come with practice. Just practice whatever we are doing, and hopefully you'll get that. Right. So I hope deployment part is also done. Now we will go through it very quickly in a very like 2 minutes, and we will over this. We'll end this bootcamp now. So the first thing that we have done is like about the styling and all is we just made this boxes. We have just made this containers area that I'm not explaining because that's it, the UI part, right? In this area, what we are doing is we are first of all segregating that buttons in categories, right? Why categories? Because operator we have to deal with them separately. For clear areas, we have to deal with them separately. For equal button, we have to deal with them separately. And for numeric area, we have to deal with them separately, right? So this is the one thing that we need to keep in our mind. Now let's get back to the script area and let's see what all step we took. The first step that we took was we have to select the button in display area, and we have to like run our event listeners over there, right? Why we are running event listeners over there? Because obviously if you want to click on that button and then something should happen, then you will select the button, right? This is how we have selected the button. Now you know that button is not only one, we have plenty of button. So we are running a loop from zeroth button till the last button, and at each button what we are doing is at each button we are running an event listeners, and we are saying as soon as we click on that function, please do run this function. Please as soon as we click on that button, please do run this particular function. What is that function? This function is the soul of our calculator. This will do every calculation for you, right? I hope at this point everyone is clear. So if these first 2 points are clear, right, then comes the important part, then comes the the most interesting part, that is you will segregate your buttons into categories. First of all, you have to get now what value your button is containing. So how will you get that is, you will say whatever button was clicked, right? You don't know key if like first button was clicked, if 10th button was clicked, or if like 9th button was clicked. Whatever button was clicked, that you can get by using this variable, right? This has something to do with like oops concept. That is what why I'm not teaching this now, but that means ki whatever button was clicked, that will contain this information. So if that is clicked, do one thing, get that attribute of data value, right? What is that data value? Data value was nothing but an attribute that we have given so that we can identify, or we can just take out whatever the button was containing, right? The button was containing AC, so that is why we have given this in AC. The button was containing plus minus, so we have given that assign value, right? So if that is if that is done, now we have got a button. We have got the value of the button that was carrying. We have also got the text that was there in our display area, right? If this thing is done, now there is nothing like very fancy to remain. We have just categorized. We have said if these are operators for you, we will deal with them separately. If this is a clear button, we will deal with them separately. If this is a sign, if this is a multiplication, all these things are done. And if we have segregated all these things, at the end, what we are remaining with? We are remaining with numbers only, right? So you'll say if this is a number, there is no issue. Just keep on adding to the display area, right? Whatever there is in display area, just add that value into that area, right? It's that simple. I hope this pass is also making some sense to everyone. Right. Now, if that is making some sense, now let's look into the details of how we do the complex, how we do the calculation, right? Calculation is fairly simple. We'll just have to manage 3 variables. First is operator 1, second is operator, not operator 1, but operand 1, right? Because that is not grammatically correct, right? Operand 1, operand 2, and operator, right? Operand 1, because suppose if you are doing any calculation and that involves plus, minus, multiply, divide, you have to have 2 variables, right? A or B, so that you can do A plus B or A minus B, A multiply B, A divide by B, right? So that is why. Now, how will I know when to take operand 1, when to take operand 2, when to take operator 1? When to take this operator. So it is fairly simple, right? Why it is simple? Suppose if you are writing anything, if you are writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 9, 11, 12, anything, right? Unless and until you press that operator button, can you say that this is my operand 1? No, right? Because you are not sure, or maybe I'm not sure how many characters you are going to write. I'll wait until you press that particular button. Maybe if you try pressing plus, if you try pressing multiply, if you try pressing divide, then I know okay, now the user is done with entering the operand 1. Now he has to enter the second operand, right? So as soon as this is entered, we are doing is we are parsing that thing. We are parsing that as a float because that value might contain some decimal values. So we are parsing that and we are saving that into our operand variable, right? If that is done, we are clearing that area. Why we are clearing that area? Because obviously, since once you have given all these functions, now you don't want to see them in your area, right? You will say, I want to see that, but if you will take the next input, then how will you segregate what is the operand 1 and what is the operand, right? So that is why we are clearing that. And we are also saying if you have pressed plus, then operator will be plus. If you have pressed multiply, then operator will be multiply. If you have pressed divide, then operator will be divide, right? If that is done, now we have just took our first operand. Now it's our turn to take second operand, right? How do we take second operand? Is we will just say, now when will you know the user have also entered the second operand? As soon as he hit the equals to button, right? Because if I'm pressing like 10 plus, then operand 1 is taken, operator is also taken. If I'm pressing 1, 0, 9, 0, 8, 7, something, right? Until and unless I hit enter, that does not mean I have entered my second operand, right? So as soon as I hit on this this equals to, what will happen is we'll say that, okay, now finally we can read the operand 2 and we can take that value from here and we can run this operator from here, right? We can just do one thing. The initial value go, whatever was the initial value, this eval function we will run, plus like do this operation, operand 1 plus like add that, or place the operator over here and just add the third part over here, and this will result this will give you the result. Whatever is the result, we'll try to log it first and we'll try to display it in our page. And this is the normal simple stuff that we have done just to clear the area for the next calculation to happen, right? All these things are very simple. These are I don't think these requires much attention because these are fairly simple, right? I hope everyone is able to get whatever we were doing, and yeah, how this calculator is working. And I also feel like you will also be able to get this, and you'll also be able to host this. And please do host it. Please do like share it on your LinkedIn, or please do share it on your Twitters or something. Like, yeah, I made this project, or maybe if you are very newbie, right, this might be very like clear to you. If this might be very like amazing for you, so please do share that so that we also got to know whosoever done that. And yeah, this is the end of this like webinar, and this is also the end of this like bootcamp. And in tomorrow around 7 to 8 you'll be receiving the quiz. That quiz will contain like some medium, some easy, some like not so very easy questions, and I hope you'll able to like get 40% marks, and after that you'll be getting certificate of completion. Cool. That just a minute, let's go through that chat. Just a minute. I'm new. Okay, cool. So certificates will be getting after the quiz. Okay, thanks Akash man, I really appreciate these message like about the teaching skills and all. Okay, great. You will not get certificate as you haven't attended the bootcamp regularly, but yeah, if you have not attended the regular bootcamp, like the regular bootcamp daily, it's still you have the chance by taking the quiz and scoring 40% marks, at least 40% marks, right? It's not like you'll score only 40% marks and then you'll go get it. Chill guys, tomorrow there will be quiz. Exactly, like 40%, say you'll get that, then you'll be doing that. There will be quiz ka, you already know. Good. Cool then, right? So yeah, let me also share that attendance link again for those of you who are not fill that. Cool then, right? So this was about the project, and I also want to take like one more minute to tell you about the upcoming course that we are coming up with. I mean, we have already been talking about this in the like previous classes. I just want to like again give you a reminder. We are coming up with this like full stack web development course with a guaranteed internship program, and all these like more information about it, what is the curriculum and all these things, right? Who will be the instructor and all these things, you can get that easily in your groups, right? Someone from the team will send it. And if you want to have like more queries over that, I will also suggest you to please fill out this form, although this was already done. Just a minute. Course registration is this. Okay, so that query link right now I don't have it, but yeah, someone in the team will share that with you. And if you want to get more details about it, please do tune into like our previous videos. You'll get the reference of that. Cool then, right? This is it. I believe I'm assuming that we don't have any further questions. Okay, how do we add footers? Okay, that is like, first of all, that is a simple part. We have covered that. I mean, if you want to add footers and all, just write tags and just add it like normal things. And right now I'm not taking those questions right now because we have already extended the time. And WhatsApp link, okay, my personal link I'll not be sharing, right? Because obviously that's not, I mean, I'll not be entertaining every one of you. Just if you have any doubts, if you have any problems, please do ask them in the groups, or please do reach out to the admins, and they'll forward that to me. Some example of the question. Okay, I don't have a like complete idea about the questions, and I don't want to give that idea right now. Definitely they'll know, that questions will not be very hard, because like all these things will be related to whatever we have taught. Cool then, right? So I'm ending this session now, right? I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you have enjoyed every class of this bootcamp. And if you have any doubts or any like suggestions or any feedbacks, if you want to give, or if you want to share, like you enjoyed this, or you have learned so many things, right? Please do share it, all these things in that attendance link form, in that comments area, in that feedbacks area. We will be happy to receive your feedbacks, and we are hoping that you have learned something, and this might add some value to your professional career, or to your like just normal things. And yeah, with that note, I want to end this. And bye bye, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you in any other further boot camps. And bye bye. Have a very good night and best of luck for tomorrow's quiz.